All right, I saw this and almost lost my mind. The Knicks have acquired Karl Anthony-Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves for Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick via Detroit. Sources tell me and John Crawl can't pronounce the last name. Now, if I could provide one thing on this channel, one thing only, I hope that I provide not only entertainment, but some valuable basketball insight. Okay? I'm gonna say this. I got a multiple amount of points that I want to speak on here. First of all, let me go ahead and focus on Donte DiVincenzo, man. Donte DiVincenzo just came off a fantastic season last season. I'm more upset about him being moved than Julius Randle for Karl Anthony-Towns. Donte DiVincenzo was starting to be beloved there in New York. He was starting to make a bigger name for himself there in New York. He was starting to make New York his home. The New York fans actually loved watching him and cheering him on. And then you trade him? This business is cold. Now, let me go ahead and get to Karl Anthony-Towns and Julius Randle. When I saw this, I tweeted, "Are the T-Wolves serious? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Wow, ... The reason why I say is this. I'm fully aware that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to eventually have to move on from Karl Anthony-Towns because he's going to be too expensive. He's due $220 million. Okay? I think over like the next 4 or so years because of the contract extension. He's due a lot of freaking money. You have a lot of youth on that team. So what acquiring Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo did freed up some cap space, which I get it. I fully understand. From a numbers game, it makes sense. From a logicality standpoint, in terms of how the team's going to work, we don't know yet. For me, it's tough to see Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert on the same team. Spacing. Just spacing. Karl Anthony-Towns spaced that floor very well to allow Rudy Gobert to roam in the paint. Now you have Julius and Rudy. I don't know how that's going to look. For me, it's hard to see and visualize right now without actually watching it in person, watching games. On paper, it looks kind of nasty. But also on paper, it looks kind of solid because you get more of a physical presence in Julius Randle than you did in Karl Anthony-Towns. So, and from that standpoint, I get what the Minnesota Timberwolves were coming at. But you just made the Western Conference Finals. Just made the Western Conference Finals. And you make a move where one of your best players then goes to the Eastern Conference. So this move for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they better go right back to the Western Conference Finals or else there's going to be a lot of conversation to be had with what went wrong here. You had a Western Conference Finals team get rid of the second best player behind Anthony Edwards and get Julius Randle, and it doesn't work out. How is that going to bode well with the fans? I think Donte DiVincenzo is going to be a very prominent piece off the bench because you're going to start Mike Conley, you're going to start Jaden McDaniels, you're going to start Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Donte DiVincenzo off the bench, Naz Reid off the bench. Now, what this does do, though, with moving Karl Anthony-Towns, it's very evident and it's obvious that the Minnesota Timberwolves are trying or willing to move on from Karl Anthony-Towns while banking their future on Naz Reid. I think this is the notion, or this is the move that says, hey, Naz, man, we're all in on you. We got rid of our all-NBA player. We're all in on you. We owed Karl a lot of freaking money. Some teams, when they make it or almost make it to that, you know what I'm saying, to that championship game, and players are due more money, some of them get cheap. A lot of teams, New York Knicks, like to get expensive. But some teams, Timberwolves, are saying, wait a minute now, hold on. We can get Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo at a little bit of a discount in terms of what we're in terms of what contract we're offloading. And we have Naz Reid for the future. Only time will tell how this trade will vote in the scope of the NBA. Now, moving on to Julius Randle. Julius Randle, the New York Knicks, in my opinion, I felt like that relationship was going to be done. Rather it be today, yesterday, next year. I just think for him personally, a new scene is what is needed for him. I don't think him in New York necessarily worked out how he wanted it to. Granted, he was injured and things of that nature, but I think moving to Minnesota, playing in Minnesota under a different coach, a different system. I think it's gonna be well for him and his mental, and in terms of just seeing something new. You know what I mean? Like the grass isn't always green on the other side. I understand that, but I think Julius Randle will find some sense or some sort of success in Minnesota, because he's gonna have to. He has no choice. Yeah, hey. He has no choice, ladies and gentlemen. There isn't no, I think I'm gonna show up. No. You better figure it out. And I think Julius kind of understands that. And I think him playing with Anthony Edwards could be a good change for him. And same for Karl Anthony-Towns. I think him moving scene or change of scenery for him is good. Both programs, both teams, Timberwolves and Knicks, moving on from both of their all NBA pieces, changing it from one another. I think on the outside looking in, it could be a win-win. Get a new look. Get a new vibe, get a new piece of the team. And I think they made the move that they felt was best fit for them to, make that jump to an NBA championship. Because nowadays, no one's making moves for 4 or 5 years down the line. If you're a contender, they're making moves to win right now because of how stacked the NBA is. So if you put Karl Anthony-Towns, the New York Knicks, you got Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, my gosh, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle. Wait, I said Julius Randle twice. I'm sure. Wait. Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. My fault. Then you have pieces like a Precious Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, Mitchell Robinson when he comes back from injury. I think you have a campaign as a backup PG. I don't know if they still have Marcus Morris, but they have a lot of solid pieces on that team that you can make a deep playoff run with that team, because you have 5 guys that are two of the 5 are going to be on the court at all times. Realistically, 3 of the 5, especially with Thibodeau. Thibodeau going to run you through the grind. Now, Karl Anthony-Towns has to go back to playing for Tom Thibodeau in New York. That's going to be really interesting to see, because he played in his early stint with the Minnesota Timberwolves, so that's going to be pretty hilarious to see how they rekindle their relationship over there. But moving forward to the Timberwolves, you got, like I said, Conley, Jaden McDaniels, Ant-Man, Julius Randle, Gobert. It could work. I think they'll figure out a way for it to work. I think so. I don't see why. I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see the spacing right now. But they're NBA players and we're not. So that's up to them to figure out. Now, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves here are banking on another big jump from Jaden McDaniels. Shot the ball pretty well last season. I think he shot 33% from 3, 40% from 3 the season before, I think. So I think for him to take another jump would be huge for this team, because now you have a lot of young guys on a lot of cheap contracts, in which their contract extensions are going to be due pretty soon. I believe Jaden McDaniels did sign a contract extension, but needless to say, you have Dante DiVincenzo, a vet, an NBA champ with the Milwaukee Bucks. Whether he played or not, he's still on the team. He's an NBA champion, coming to the Minnesota Timberwolves to give them a different look, a different feel, because he's been to the big dance, and a lot of those guys have not. Now, where does this leave the New York Knicks in Eastern Conference? It's win now. It's win now. What they did is trying to compete with the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics is still that team to beat. You have to worry about also the return of the Milwaukee Bucks with a healthy season and a full season under Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Can't forget those guys. Absolutely not. Then you have Philadelphia 76ers. Okay? Philadelphia 76ers, where you have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George. Now, this trade right here, mind you, Dante DiVincenzo was getting about $11.4 million next season. Julius Randle is getting about $29 million next season. Karl Anthony-Towns is getting about $49 million next season. They sent that draft pick off and some compensation with in terms of sending, I think they sent Daquan Jeffries, or they received, I forget. Daquan Jeffries is somewhere involved in this trade and a draft pick, and they involved the Charlotte Hornets as the third team. I can't believe it. OG, Mikal, Julius, Jalen Brunson. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Jalen Brunson take a pay cut for something possible like this to happen? If so, if my mind is correct, if I remember correctly, it's a pretty bossy move from a leader. Took less money for the chance to win NBA championship. I love it. If I remember correctly, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think. This is gonna be really interesting to see how this boats and see how this plays out. For me right now, I think the New York Knicks did win the trade. You get a big after you lose Isaiah Hartenstein. You have Mitchell Robinson that's out, I believe, till January. You get a pick and pop big, one of the best shooting bigs in NBA history in Karl Anthony-Towns, in which you really haven't had that on that team. If you look at it on paper, the New York Knicks this is probably the best roster I've seen in my teenage and adult tenure. Yeah, I'm really trying to think. I can't remember a team that was built like this. Wow. I mean, you give Jalen Brunson a pick and pop big, because Isaiah Hartenstein wouldn't pick and pop like that. Mitchell Robinson for damn sure wouldn't pick and pop like that. Julius Randle would pick and pop, but he would low-key pick to the short roll, play from the elbow of the nail, and then have the step back option for the three, of course. But now you get a pick and pop legit big. That paint's gonna open up. There's gonna be a lot of space on that floor between Cat, Michael, Josh, OG, Jalen. You got 5 shooters. That paint finna be spanking. Wide open. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? I'm excited. NBA is back. Media day has already started. Preseason is among us. Training camps have started across the league and play. Oh my gosh, this is the best time of the year. Best time of the year, baby. High-level basketball is back, ladies and gentlemen. And the NBA is in uproar already. It's not even October. New York Knicks and Timberwolves, y'all set the tone. Now, follow through with the season. I hope these trades work for both teams. But like I said, I have New York as the A, and I have Timberwolves at like a A-, B+ right now. Now, if I'm wrong, I will gladly always own up to it. But for right now, I think the New York Knicks won this trade. I do see the vision with the Timberwolves, though. Got more gritty. Got a little cheaper. And still got an all-NBA player in return. Plus a great freaking bench asset in Dante DiVincenzo. So I see the vision for both, man. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. That's my spiel. It is midnight. I am going to bed. But by the time you're seeing this, it'll be the next day. So, yeah. Everybody have a blessed day out there. Sayonara. Wow. NBA. There's no Woj bombs, though. So I guess it's called a sham wow or something like that. Oh, man. We are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.